Hello, my name is Landon Terrio, and I'm doing my project on the application of behavior models in stress reduction of Latin American parents in California. Currently, in public health standpoint, stress is one of the biggest challenges we see in adults, as it, due to what it causes. We can see that in 2018, it was extremely prevalent, with 74% of adults experiencing chronic stress. And although this is a kind of a later number, it can provide us a rough estimate of where it currently is in 2025. Um, Prolonged stress is linked to problems like anxiety, depression, high blood pressure, gastrointestinal issues, cardiovascular disorder, sleep disturbances, mood changes, and more. One of the most common causes of stress is financial insecurity, which may be considered as the inability to pay for rent, everyday items, um, high debt, unemployment or job loss, no savings, low access to healthcare, etc. This is a finding I found on the internet where we see losing sleep is prevalent in 66% of people due to stress. Physical symptoms like high blood pressure in 75% of members. 16% feel the need to do self harm. 32% harbored suicidal thoughts. Um, 37% uh, claim that loneliness had something to do with their stress as well. For our population, we are doing the Latin American population in California, as there are 15.6 million Latin Americans here. And they have many different issues, which is primarily why I focused on this specific group. It's interesting because Latin American families consist of many generations, including grandparents, grandchildren, aunts, and uncles, and sometimes cousins, meaning the primary supporters also have to provide for many of these people as well. And depending on the circumstances, it may be extremely stressful. And since California is one of the most expensive places to live, the cost of living for many may be exceedingly higher, and especially for Latin American families in these situations. With having to support multi generational families, the cost of living becomes harder to keep up and eventually adds up into debt and other problems. And not to mention that these families also tend to have more children than others and are linked to extremely high cases of financial instability, which are also linked to chronic health cases, which is why I'm targeting this. This graph, I used AI from two different sources to come up with this graph. As we see, 73,000 is the Latino median income, and to support a family of four is $188,269, which is over two times higher than 73,000 and is pretty dire. Our health behavior is obviously chronic stress, which causes an increase in cortisol and impacts the endocrine system by affecting many things like blood pressure or increases the risk to heart disease. If it continues, it can induce habits like drinking or abusing drugs, anxiety or fatigue, depression, headaches, and in serious cases, we see extreme stress um, and isolation becoming more prevalent, and is distant is causes families to distance themselves from each other, and is a combative theory of Latin American families. If it stays prevalent, we see poor financial decisions, less healthier choices, and bad self care become problematic. And we also see gambling and other addictions, which may or may not go towards anxiety or depression. Here's a graph. We have stress, which links to religion, relationships, work and leisure, finance, housing, and culture. Starts with the mind, then the body, and adrenaline. Increases to pulse, BP, breathing, brain, immune system, and the brain again, which impacts memory. Autoimmune diseases and infections become more prevalent. Tunnel thinking leads to negative thinking, which leads to depression and anxiety, and then coping strategies like drugs. For our method, we are using social cognitive theory, developed by Albert Bandura, and it focuses on cultural interventions along with the change in behaviors. The first construct is reciprocal determinism, which is an interchangeable influence strategy consisting of personal influences, behavioral influences, and environmental influences, and these all impact each other in some sort of way. Then there's self efficacy, which measures the ability of someone who can perceive their ability to succeed or complete a goal. Observational learning is essentially monkey see, monkey do, and by watching someone complete a task or demonstrate an ability, we can see that this other person should be able to replicate the same thing. These could be skills, methods of parenting, coping mechanisms, stress relief, anything they can usually learn is done here. The fourth construct is reinforcement, and it allows people to be rewarded for completing tasks and influences people to keep trying to stay with these programs and further their training. The last one is outcome expectations, which is being able to determine an outcome based on their rewards or consequences. And then the best choices will be picked after this. Intervention. So for our intervention, we will be using a workshop program to identify stressors and host skills so that parents in this population can acquire new traits or methods of parenting. The first step is to develop these workshops which teach skill and parents to manage stress and parenting styles, and can also be financial burdens like debt. This could also be the enhancement of self-efficacy to encourage members to be confident, and also observational learning would be occurring in this step to teach parents effective time management skills in order to balance personal life with their parenting life. By adding their family members, we can also include people close to them and make these workshops culturally inclusive, which is ideal for our population. We need to encourage experimentation with these skills at home so that they aren't just relying on these workshops and are also constantly thinking of strategies to maintain and manage their burdens of perceiving their abilities to fail. Lastly, by creating a positive feedback loop through the community and nonprofits' assistance, the cycle sustains itself and creates a community revolved around helping each other through situations like financial instability. Since we're based in California, we can take advantage of the various nonprofits and programs in California. And because many parts of California have many Latin American parents, there are many opportunities to connect these parents with each other, to exchange helpful methods of parenting, or even just a means of support. So for our first nonprofit, we have Hispanics in Philanthropy, which is a nonprofit in Latin American advocacy, and they promote leadership in these communities and also assist in Latinx profits as well, nonprofits, which will also be able to help members outside the workshop take advantage of these situations. Then there's the SNAP program, which provides children with healthy and nutritious food. And if it is needed, parents can also request help at home to provide healthy, nutritious food for their kids. And the last one is Parents Helping Parents, which is where it's a virtual community where parents share challenges and request assistance from other parents. And I think this would be a great thing to integrate into this program because it would help provide information to these struggling parents from other parents, which is also reliable, relatable, and real. And then I assume that there are many other communities on this program, so we would be able to have Latin American families helping each other out as well. For our projected outcomes, we want our traits and behaviors to be developed and impacted positively. This could be their self-efficacy to succeed, stress management, or parenting skills. Any of these would benefit the members greatly and allow for future development. Some possible improvements also include better family life, better connections or outside support, new friends, coping mechanisms, or sharing experiences with a helpful community behind them. With time, we develop management skills thoroughly and significantly to decrease stress levels. This should also generally pave the way for a healthier lifestyle and improved habits. This workshop would also rely on its sustainability because many members can't provide a profit, which means we would need outside support as well. And to determine if the workshop is successful, we need to use surveys from members to determine how they are feeling and their current standpoint towards their situations. And lastly, we would need feedback to enhance the program and use communities' ideas to hopefully create a better version of this workshop as well. Here's a graph right here to determine the average time it would take. 8 weeks, or the first week, we would have a level 8, which is significantly high, to 6, which is in the medium range. Here's my first page of references, and then here's my second.